I'm not necessarily trying to mellow it out, but last week Taylor Swift did come out with her newest single, Lover, and Caleb Calhoun of All for Tennessee is a big Taylor Swift fan. So let me just throw the change up out there. Yes, what were your thoughts on Taylor Swift's single?
Oh, I liked it. I liked Lover. I actually liked it a little bit better than me, or You Need to Calm Down, her first two singles. So it was definitely a unique twist. I still don't know. I gotta wait for the album to drop because it's kind of confusing the direction she's taken in this album. It's been a hodgepodge of different singles, but one of the things I always like about Taylor Swift albums is usually there's a style behind it of some sort, and I can't really put my thumb on the pulse of the style of this album yet. But this album drops this week, so we'll see what it is.
I like her cat surfboard. You see that? The surfboard with the pictures of cats?
Yes.
Anyway, like one of the this is my soft side, Caleb Calhoun. Okay, you want every tough guys have a soft side right here. Mine is the Twitter "We Like Cats" and all that. So there you go. I have the same. That's my little thing. Okay, that's my in with Taylor Swift if it ever can happen. That and the fact that she's from the same hometown as former Carolina Panthers quarterback Matt Lytle. So there you are. The anyway, so we got hey, before we get into who's the best receiver, we were talking about Zach Wilson and BYU. Now, the BYU game, have you heard why Tennessee is going to sell alcohol for the first time? And it doesn't seem like it's going to be one of these Georgia Bulldog things where you have to go into the bowels of Sanford Stadium and belong to a very ritzy private club to drink there or something, which is what I hear is what's going on with Georgia. No, this is the same 2-beer limit at the concession stand, blah, 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 at Neyland Stadium. But has anybody told you why they are going to begin alcohol sales against BYU and not the opener against Georgia State? Is it to troll the Cougars, who traditionally don't even sell soda pop at their stadium in Provo because it has caffeine? Has anybody explained that to you, why Game 2 and not Game 1, the alcohol sales?
No, they haven't, and my assumption was that it was to troll BYU. I mean, their honor code is still, to this day, it's not just that BYU is a dry campus. Students who go to BYU must pledge to not drink, period, like wherever they are.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, not just alcohol, by the way, they're not allowed to have coffee or tea. And, I mean, I do little jokes. I mean, obviously, you go back in the Prohibition era, it's not like the religious Bible Belt South was always the most progressive when it came to alcohol.
No.
But at the same time, I did kind of find it funny that they just happened to sell alcohol for the first time when BYU, by far the most prominent Mormon religious school in college football, is heading to town. And also, there's a book out about the connections between a governor from Tennessee named James K. Polk, obviously, or president from Tennessee named James K. Polk, obviously, and then Brigham Young himself, and the connections that are there when it came to the westward expansion in the 1840s.
Well, there you go.
A little bit of history there.
There you go. I mean, I loved it when the sixth generation of David Crockett were honored at the Tennessee-Texas A&M game in 2016. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So, yeah, I mean, there you go, right there, James K. Polk. I always used to think about it when I'd go into Polk County in North Carolina and say, wait a minute, he's from Tennessee. How is that? I guess you can have more than one person named Polk and all this, but yes. And to tell you the truth, I mean, I like that because I am one Caleb Calhoun who thinks, East Tennessee could really stand to be more cosmopolitan. I mean, there's got to be more to do than sit in traffic in Gatlinburg and go to Riley's, believe it or not, or Ripley's, believe it or not, excuse me there. But what I wanted to just say is that, I mean, there are all sorts of ways of being cosmopolitan, but at least you can say, hey, at least we're not as prudish as Provo. I mean, that at least is something. Maybe not as much, but at least you can say that.
It's funny if you study history too. Through the mid 20th century. Now, it wasn't cosmopolitan by any means, but the state of Tennessee was much more cosmopolitan than the rest of the Deep South. You've always had the glitz and glam of Nashville. They like to call themselves country in Nashville. I'm sorry, but makeup with the cowboy hat's not country music. That's it's got a little cosmopolitan in it, even though a lot of Tennesseans don't want to admit they got a lot of cosmopolitan in their state.
Now, Nashville is, I mean, you got Memphis where you're from, Beale Street, and all this.
Yeah.
As I've always said here, and I know you say Nashville isn't necessarily country, but the way that I try to explain the three grand divisions to people from out of state, and I said the best way to do this is East Tennessee is bluegrass, Middle Tennessee is country, never Central Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and West Tennessee is the blues. And once you get that, then they kind of say, oh, okay. And that's the best way I've known to describe the three grand divisions right there in a short period of time. All right, who is the go-to receiver going to be this year when it's 3rd and 7? Who's Guarantano going to look for first, Jennings or Callaway?
It's funny. I wrote about this obviously yesterday, and I talked about how Callaway, from like the raw measurables, is the better receiver. I mean, he has a better vertical. He's faster. I mean, we've seen what he can do with the ball in his hands, which is why he's a punt returner. And I mean, obviously Jennings is a converted quarterback. But I do believe when it comes to wide receivers, there is something just about being that ultimate gamer. And Juwan Jennings is that type of guy. I mean, he's the guy that, again, I'm not saying he's not even close to this guy at all, but I'm saying, like, from a mental perspective, we talked about this last week, like, it's kind of got that Michael Irvin thing going where, the Cowboys always felt like in the early 90s, yeah, Troy Aikman was the quarterback, but Michael Irvin was the guy you wanted in your foxhole when things were going wrong.
Yeah.
And I feel like Juwan Jennings has that type of dog in him, and I think that will make Jared kind of look his way more.
Well, I like Jennings because, when he spoke out against Butch Jones and he got suspended and you be a good person now, that sort of thing. I didn't like all that. I said, they're suspending Jennings for doing something every single person who follows the Tennessee Volunteers is saying. I mean, how can you do, really, why? And all that. You want to get on him for getting arrested for a marijuana violation. Get on him for, maybe not so good of a relationship with the quarterbacks on opening day against Georgia Tech. Don't get on him for that. That's ridiculous. Don't get on him for a Facebook video where he's saying what everybody else is thinking. So that was my take there. And of course,
it kind of, now I remember because you brought up my preseason story on the last segment. I forgot that it was about this article I had written. But yeah, particularly when we had way too much evidence that Butch Jones was lying to us all season about players that he kept talking about that we never saw on the field. And we are starting to see some of that with Jeremy Pruitt. Like, honestly, I'm kind of getting tired of hearing him talk about these certain players because we heard this last year, and I'm like, we heard this all about Eli Wolf, and then we never saw him on the field during the season. And, I'm now hearing it about Josh Palmer and some other guys, and I'm thinking, it's annoying when coaches get frustrated that we assume they're lying when we catch them in lies all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get you, and I'm just be open. I mean, what's it gonna really? They could know who the backup left tackle is. Well, okay, you do what you do. I mean, speaking of which, who will be the backup left tackle? I mean, right now we're getting, we don't have any idea what Trey Smith's situation is going to be, and really, blood clots in the lungs are pretty serious. As a fan of old-time wrestling from the 80s, okay, blood clots in their lungs actually caused the heart attack to Roddy Piper that killed him at 61, and it's what caused Jesse Ventura to get away from the sport and eventually into acting and then politics. He had blood clots in his lungs as well. So, I mean, this is very serious here, and this is why he's been kept out. But what I think is serious is when I get the reports and it says, we don't have any idea who the starting offensive line is going to be, at what point and all that. Shouldn't you know this about 10 days before this first game?
Yeah, I think you should. I think that, part of me says that they're just trying to hide stuff. Jeremy Pruitt, I know Jim Chaney's the new offensive coordinator, but he's got to be going off a little bit of what he saw last year. And, he's been, he keeps like, this is where the line comes. He keeps touting the development of certain guys. And he's like, well, I have no idea who's going to step up. Well, why are you touting these guys for development? If you don't know who's going to step up, clearly they don't deserve to be touted yet. and so, for example, Marcus Tatum. I keep hearing inside reports about how apparently Marcus Tatum is really taking that next step, and how Wanya Morris is the breakout star freshman. Okay, well, they're your tackles right there, whether or not Trey Smith is healthy. And so, I don't know if he's trying to play it close to the vest, or I don't know what he's doing, but I will say there's not consistency with how he's touting the players and practice in the abstract. And then when you ask him about
It did not help the Vols at all when we didn't really know that Guarantano was going to be the starter at a Christ last year until, opening day, until the day of the game against West Virginia, or thereabouts. I think it was, just before it was named. It did not help at all that Guarantano or Dormandy, that we didn't know until kickoff that it was going to be Dormandy, maybe an hour before kickoff or whatever it was against Georgia Tech. That has resulted in 9 victories in 2 years. Give people their roles. It's 10 days till, the season begins. Come on. It's better that they know than you keep everybody else not knowing. He's Caleb Calhoun.
You really need to trick Georgia State?
Yeah. He's Caleb Calhoun. It's all for Tennessee. And this has been Asian House Vols Talk with Caleb Calhoun of All for Tennessee.
1420 WE.